I wish a Karen would. Ladies and gentlemen, we search Karens all across the country because Karens are detrimental to the progress, especially of black and brown people. But there are all sorts of Karens. I want you to meet Chimera Karen. I guess I'm saying that right. Okay, this is supposed to be some conspiracy theory about have human, have something else. It's stuff that a person like Alex Jones would believe in, okay? This is the weirdest 42 seconds of cable news you will ever see. Here's your Karen for today.
Once upon a time, bad people ruled the earth. And then a miracle happened. They called them hybrids. Your kind.
Yeah, bad idea, people. Human chimeras living among us, it's only science fiction for right now. Yesterday, the Senate passed the Endless Frontier Act, a bill that commits nearly $250 billion to promote emerging technologies so that America can keep pace with Chinese innovation. Back in May, Democrats shot down an important amendment outlawing U.S. participation in research that would create human-animal hybrids, also known as chimeras.
It's just so damn silly. They said we're not going to address that. Now remember, this person is doing a news segment, Woz, and admits the entire pretext to the news segment is completely fiction. It doesn't stop there. Take 2 on the video.
China's already doing it, announcing in April that an international team successfully grew human monkey embryos and sustained them for 20 days in a lab. The only question is, what will they do next? Currently, the National Institutes of Health has banned U.S. funding for chimeric research, but that ban could very well be lifted. And who's to say that these agencies will play by the rules anyway? Remember, President Obama banned funding for gain-of-function research back in 2014, but New York AD found a way around it. And they laundered, it's the NIAID group, and they laundered hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Wuhan Institute of Virology through a nonprofit group called the EcoHealth Alliance. The rest is history. Chimeric research is a Pandora's box, that's obviously from hell, that should not be opened. But the scientific community, spurred on by their own hubris, may very well open it using American taxpayer dollars. And if that happens, the Democrats will have blood on their hands for not joining the GOP and stopping it when they had a chance. Joining me now for reaction, I don't even believe, Lara Logan, here we are, it's the 21st century, we're 2 very smart women, we have to talk about chimeras and how maybe the government might do it.
No, you don't have to talk about chimeras. You are choosing to talk about chimeras. And Woz, did you notice that she actually said the practice is banned in the United States of America? But in her first segment, she said, why didn't the United States explicitly ban this in the legislation? Because, Karen, it's already banned. Woz.
Oh my goodness. And you hit the nail right on the head, brother. When you said you don't actually have to talk about this, right? We talked about the previous bill that would ban, for all intents and purposes, mostly dark money in politics. You don't want to talk about that on Fox News. You don't want to talk about Joe Biden's infrastructure bill that the Republicans refused to vote on, a bill that would bring millions of well-paying jobs to Americans, both Democrat and Republican, all far and wide from east to west. You don't want to talk about the merits of that bill and what Joe Biden wants to do for the American people as far as bringing them well-paying, sturdy jobs that would grant them dignified employment and not having to go work at places like Walmart or McDonald's where employers don't even want to pay you $15 an hour, right? Like, you don't want to talk about that on Fox News. You'd rather talk about this nonsense.
Yeah, and here's a guy that'd rather talk about nonsense too. Let's roll.
Humans won't be told, and the Congress won't discuss, and there will be no law, but a total void on all the genetic experiments.
Just a few weeks ago, I called a press conference and I brought up the fact that human-animal hybrids is one of the biggest threats to our species.
You see humanoids, they're like 80% gorilla, 80% pig, and they're talking.
I never told the story on air because it's so fantastical.
Oh, God. they had in tanks people with gills, and they're little babies, and they were in there just gulping, clawing at the sides. You see a turtle at the zoo, and it wants out, and you feel for it. They got humanoids crossed with fish and stuff. I mean, we are screwed, people.
Yes, we are screwed because a newscaster has now decided to adopt the narrative of Alex Jones as their actual freaking news story. So, ma'am, you have earned your credentialing as our Karen of the day. Woz?
You know, it's amazing because, I'm reading in the New York Times where they're talking about jobs are having to up the benefits and up the perks for workers. They're talking about how this is a great economy for workers, right? Like, instead of giving people unlivable wages and just horrible working conditions, employers are having to come up with ways to entice people to work, right? Like, that's an amazing thing that people on Fox News should be talking about. Like, yo, look, it's good to go out there and try to find a job today. Instead, we're gonna talk about senators and Alex Jones segments, which, by the way, Rashad, remember, he went to court, it was like a year or two ago, and he said in court, under oath, he said, I don't believe any of this crap.
Yep.
I'm an entertainer. I'm just having fun out there. He actually admitted it and said it, and yet on Fox News, these people peddle these types of conspiracy theories and this type of political drink. It's hilarious to see.
Yeah, it's quite insane.